Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. In the last part, Aerith disappeared on us after we finished the Temple of the Ancients, and now we're going to go find her. We got the Lunar Harp from the Bone City now, so we can actually progress through this forest area. But we want to keep our eyes open in this particular room because we're looking for a brief flash of red right there. Gotcha! That's the Kajata Summon Materia. It's essentially Tritalk from 6, 3 elements in a row. However, this is a case of if an enemy resists or absorbs one of the 3 elements it uses, either ice, fire, or thunder, they absorb all of it. Yeah.
That sounds like a familiar occurrence, I would say.
Yeah, and it's also kind of dumb because if you try to use it on elemental materia, that just becomes non-elemental. First enemy for this part, though, is the Mall Dancer. 600 HP, 500 experience points, 56 AP, 700 gil. Immune to earth and water, so Aqualung is not going to be useful around here. You can steal Phoenix Downs from them, they can drop high potions, or you can morph them very usefully into X potions at this point.
Man, if you want X potions, just spend some time into Chow.
Yeah, I guess you
or
can.
just in Wutai in general. There's a lot of things that drop X potions there.
Yeah. But, yeah, this is a fairly accessible area, especially because there's an inn, like, not even 2 screens prior.
Also, the animation for this is beautiful.
Yeah, despite Kajata not being useful, I love the way it looks.
It does a lot of damage, too.
Goddamn. Yeah, if it works, it does really well because it is powerful, but you have that caveat of elemental absorption to keep in mind, so ultimately not too useful. And over here, we get the Water Ring, which I believe absorbs ice and water elemental stuff. That's going to be useful.
I thought it was just water, but...
It might just be water, I forget. I know what, we'll see on the description right now. Yeah, okay,
drains
just
water. So, and the ice ring nullifies cold.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's going to be very useful in a section coming up. I'm just putting that on Sid because he doesn't have any form of water protection on at the moment from my memory. And wow, this looks creepy.
Oh, I didn't know you could actually get encounters in this area either.
It's very rare.
I'm hungry, this enemy says. 2,000 HP, 700 XP, 60 AP, 600 gil. No elemental weaknesses. Can drop an either, if you're pretty lucky. No morphs or steals. This thing likes to cast mini on you and then eat you.
Yeah, and eating essentially I'm not sure if it counts as a KO or a removal from battle like Sneeze in 6 does?
Yeah, I think it's like Sneeze, but it's more like Sneeze in 9. Like, in 9, Sneeze counts as a KO.
Okay,
which
gotcha.
means if your other character's KO'd, it's game over. But, this thing can only use Eat if there's more than one character left. If there's one character left, then it doesn't do it.
Yeah, so they're at least pretty merciful about that. And I love this song. Welcome to the City of the Ancients, a city with no population. There is one specific area you have to go to in here if you want to progress in plot, so I'm going to be looking around for the items you can grab around here first. Also a random save point in this room, I never understood why. And there's a magic source. That's nice.
Word of the Ancients. Of course you can.
Being the City of the Ancients, there's all sorts of those little pools we saw, like the one in the Temple of the Ancients that contains their knowledge or something like that.
That's weird. I always thought those were crystals, but when you mentioned that it was like a pool at the Temple of the Ancients, I was like, man, those do kind of look like water.
Aurora Armlet, I think, absorbs
ice. Ice.
Yeah, absorbs ice. It's in my notes right there. That is also potentially useful.
And I gotta tell you, the game's giving you a hint. It's giving you a water ring and an Aurora Armlet. You better have an idea of what's coming up here.
Yeah, you're gonna want some water or ice protection coming up. Preferably both, but if you have to pick one, I'd say pick water over ice.
Pick water over ice.
Also, I love... The one thing I've always loved about this area is that compared to everything else in the game, this is a very visually different place. Because it's very underwater coral looking when nothing else in the game quite looks like this. If there's any...
I actually really like that effect, that touch they had.
If there's any area I'm looking forward to seeing in the remake, whenever that comes out down the line, it's this area, because I'm looking to see how they can make this look good while also having that sort of alien feeling. Now we want to come into this area. We could come here in the next couple of minutes when we're directed to, but I want to come up here for right now to get the Comet Materia, which thankfully does not summon the ultimate black magic. It's just Comet, which I think is semi-random damage in this game.
Not semi-range. It has a set range, but that range is much smaller than in 9.
And then I think in 5 as well. Comet is going to be a very useful spell for random battles going forward. I put it on Sid for right now, but that could also be fairly useful for just general magic stat raising stuff.
I've always loved that this first area looked like a trident.
Holy shit, you're right. I never noticed that. It's also a bit of a crossroads. Crossroads of fate, maybe? I don't know.
Aerith and Cloud were destined and stuff like that.
Yep. And in this random seashell house, which is also kind of strange, we have, I believe this is an elixir? No, this is a guard source.
Yeah, there's one of every source in this place, as I recall, and there's also an elixir at the inn, I think.
Yeah, this place does have a free inn that you can use. We're directed to use it for plot, even. There is going to be one thing I do before we use that, though, and we'll talk about that in a moment. To the northeast in this area, that previous area, you could go towards the pathway, but I think Cloud says that you shouldn't go that way yet. Or something along those lines.
I thought there was like some kind of apparition that stopped you. I don't remember.
Yeah, something along those lines. And here's the inn we can use, but we do not want to use this inn yet. Doing so triggers the continuation of the plot. I want to come up here and grab the third enemy skill materia.
I did not know that was there. That's like hidden.
Yeah, that's
like the only well hidden materia in this game.
Yeah, and knowing my pattern, at this point, I'm going to leave the City of the Ancients, go back through all of the previous areas, and get most of the enemy skills we've gotten throughout the game. I think in particular I get Mantra Magic, Level 4 Suicide, Chokebuckle, Beta, White Wind, Flamethrower, Big Guard, Frog Song, the 4 question marks one, Death Force, and Magic Hammer. Aqua Lung you could get, but we're going to have another opportunity to get it within the really near future. And trying, and if you haven't done Godo yet, it's just recommendable to wait until then. But along the way, we did find the next new enemy, Bound Fat. This is a very useful place to be because I believe we can learn Death Sentence from these things. So that's going to be useful for the enemy skill materia. Yeah, it has Death Sentence. 500 HP, 420 experience points, 40 AP, 350 gil. By the way, this is in the area right before the Temple of the Ancients, if you can't tell by the background. It can steal, drop, or be morphed into Dazers, which I think are a gravity-based use item.
Oh, Dazers?
Yeah.
Those are... I want to say stop.
Yeah, no, you're right, they're stopped, because those have a potential use later on in the game. Otherwise, they're fairly vanilla enemies. They got ice too, so make sure you have some ice protection, I guess. Their Dark Needle attack, I think, consistently inflicts blind. But overall, they're not very threatening.
Most of the enemies in this game aren't actually too difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I think about it. The most dangerous enemies in the game, barring ones that you face before you're supposed to, potentially like those machines you could fight in your first trip to Junin that are supposed to be like on Disc 2, are usually from the areas that you can't backtrack to later on. Which is very rare in the game. And at this point, I have gotten all those enemy skills again. That took me, I want to say, close to an hour.
Wow. Well, you did have the Tiny Bronco, so...
Yeah, the Tiny Bronco makes that a lot easier. That's what everything's looking like. I think I may have learned Aqua Lung for it off-screen.
Yep.
But you don't need to again. I forget which one's the original one at this point. Because in my notes, when it came to Materia setup, I had, like... Enemy skill 1, enemy skill 2, and enemy skill 3 to indicate ones that may have had skills I couldn't get otherwise yet. Like, I'll have enemy skill 3 listed for someone who I don't want to have Trine on at that moment for whatever reason. And this is what my setup's looking like armor-wise. Everyone has a way to absorb or at least resist water in some way. Also, Barrett got his 3rd limit break off screen. Or level 3 limit break.
Boo, that's not his best one, though.
Yeah, although I think his 2nd level 3 limit break is debatably better than his level 4, right?
Yes.
And at this point, let's go use that in to progress with plot.
I argued the same thing about Reds and not Clouds. Tifa's just gets better every time.
Yuffie's, maybe?
I haven't really played enough of Yuffie to know.
Whoa.
You know what? Probably Vincent.
Yeah, Vincent's is also pretty useful. And now we're in a night section, and something that always kind of threw me off about this sequence here, I think it's because of like the visual filter they put over the environments or something. Whenever we leave the little house, pay attention to the way the game loads. Instead of doing the usual fade to black and fade back in, it just snaps to the next screen. Like that. It's weird.
That is
I don't get why it
very
does
weird.
that. But, as Cloud said, he senses Aerith is nearby, obviously because she said she was going to be coming over to here, so we should try to find her. And she's coming towards the north. I do recommend saving before doing this next set of events, by the way, because there is a potential danger.
Potential danger.
Like, depending on how much you played the game, what your levels are looking like, it probably can't. It has a potential of being bad, but also not too bad.
Also, we don't know exactly what Aerith is doing, right? We just know that she's here.
Yeah, we just know she went up here for some reason. She said she had something to do. Never quite specified why, which was kind of annoying, but oh well. Well, this staircase wasn't here before. There was just a random holographic fish. I love the way this area looks. I want to say this is the closest to an outright crystal area Final Fantasy VII has, unlike the previous games. And they even give you another save point just in case it's not obvious that you should save. I will do that in suit.
I actually really like strategic placements of save points like that.
There was one game, I forget what game it was, where they put like... No, I think it was Silent Hill 2. Where the save points in that game are like little red pads of paper that can be on the wall or floor. They put like 9 of them in one wall just to be like, yeah, you should save.
Wow.
This segment right here is annoying because jumping from platform to platform is oddly specific on which direction you need to hold. Hold off, Barrett. I got this.
I don't know why he tells them to hold off, though.
Yeah, no, oh god damn it, I'm jumping back and forth.
He was literally facing away from the platform he was jumping towards. Why would he do that?
Also, I forgot to mention, there have been 2 Fort Condor battles available this part. After you awaken the Force with the Lunar Harp, one opens up back in Fort Condor, which is another 5x potions. And right now, before we talk to Aerith, there is another one that is another 5x potions. Oh, hey, Aerith, this is a quaint little area you found.
Whoa. What?
Oh, God, red screen. I don't like the tone of that music. Aerith? You alright?
Are you alright? What?
You got my sword out. No one's gonna get to you now.
Nah.
Alright. Guess we should do
Okay.
some stretches. Get those glutes done. Loosen up the waist. Get the arms in too.
I didn't know you could do stretches.
It feels good. Cloud, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Whoa, what the heck, dude?
Holy shit.
God damn it. This can't be real.
Shut up, Sephiroth. Now, Aerith is dead. People bring up the whole use a phoenix down on her thing, but I just don't think that would work narratively. And a lot of people also bring up that game theory video. I think it was from what, like 2012, somewhere in that range?
2012, yeah. That is like she sinks like a stone and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but
and like
honestly,
there's no blood. There's like no blood or whatever, but like that completely takes away the point.
Yeah, like this, like just listen to Cloud's dialogue here.
That is a plain just over analysis that just destroys it. Like at that point, you're just taking the fun out of this game.
Yeah, this is a very powerful moment in the story. Like Cloud's dialogue there about how he's feeling, his throat is dry, his eyes are red or whatever. That's really effective. But god damn it, Sephiroth, you're gonna pay for this one.
You are... What are you?
I am what?
Oh, you're a random encounter.
Against the next boss fight,
Or
which by the way, I love that they
fight.
play her theme over this.
Okay, yeah, very impactful that they leave the theme on during this fight. But that doesn't change the fact that this fight is really dangerous. This is Genova Life, 10,000 HP, 4,000 experience points, 350 AP, 1,500 gil, immune to gravity, absorbs water, strangely weak to earth. Okay, this thing is extremely, extremely dangerous. It can cast Reflect on itself, so, you could be a good idea to, like, cast Reflect on yourself. If you got a mirror from, the Shinra mansion, you could probably use that and use Quake on yourself to reflect it back at Genova Life, since that costs, it does, ×2 damage. That blue light, I believe, does water elemental damage. Blue flame does ice elemental damage. Aqualung, which is what we mentioned earlier, does, it's a group water attack that is really strong. And if you're not prepared, you're probably gonna get killed.
If you prepare correctly by bringing in some water rings and such that can absorb water, use the enemy skill Materia, by the way, this is the best place to get Aqualung at this point in the game. And use Magic Hammer on her, I think it's like 2 or 3 times. She'll be very unable to do anything, because I think most of her attacks use MP.
I think almost all of them do, except for Blue Light, because she's got 300 MP.
Yeah. Overall, though, your best bets are going to be non-reflectable spells. Comet, Beta, Bahamut. Kujata is one actually fairly useful here from my memory.
I love how you're attacking her with all limit breaks, because it's like, limit I see limit kind of like I see trance, that it comes out with a surge of emotion.
I'm wondering if the remake's going to do anything with that.
As long as we can save it
Yeah.
for boss fights, that would be nice, because I hated using trance.
Yeah. It was always annoying and it got wasted like that. But yeah, screw you, Genova. Get out of my way. Where's that white-haired son of a bitch? Also, we get a wizard bracelet, which I think raises intelligence.
I don't think it has very good defense, though. It does have very good magic defense, though.
Genova's only line in the game. And it's a goddamn typo.
It's a typo?
Yeah, because.
I didn't see that. What the heck?
And I forget if I show them here or not. But for this little section here, every single one of the party members has a different morning animation for Aerith. One of my favorites is Yuffie's, just because... Oh, whoa, that's your gun arm, man! Is Yuffie's, because she just outright starts breaking down and, like, hugs Cloud crying. I think Red howls... I forget...
He shakes his head and then howls.
Yeah, Tifa just kind of... brushes her hair aside.
She brushes her hair aside and runs away crying.
that is one of my favorite scenes in game history.
Also mine. I'm not like a huge fan of this game, but that's probably one of my favorite moments ever. Probably tops almost anything from Final Fantasy IX, or 6 for that matter.
At least in terms of presentation.
Barring Celis's cliff jump, but
It's one of those things, though, where after my first playthrough, where I should say, I knew about that was going to happen during my first playthrough, because we had, I think it was the Brady Games guide or something when I was growing up, and I like to read ahead in it, just because I liked looking at the maps. And I learned about Aerith dying ahead of time. And that's actually partially where my whole thing of spoilers comes from, where honestly, I don't give a shit if people spoil me on something. I'm much more of a journey over the destination dude in that way, but damn, that's a powerful thing. It also has just caused me not to use Aerith as much on certain playthroughs because I just know she's gonna get axed off.
That's how I treated every playthrough before the one you just did, because I learned about the whole Peerless thing, and I was like, I gotta use that at least once.
Would you say that's probably the most well-done death in the series, though? Because I'm thinking about some of the other deaths we've seen in the series. Everyone who didn't die in 4 with those fake outs. Tella's the only one who really stayed dead there.
Sid. I still get very angry about Sid. 5? 6 was pretty good, honestly. Even though it wasn't like characters itself, it was like just general people.
Yeah, I can only think of like 2 important deaths in all of 6, and they also
9.
did pretty well.
Honestly, 9 with Queen Braun was really good.
Yeah. And that's the end of Disc 1. If you're playing the Switch or other PC versions, that's the end of Part 1. They still give you the same prompt there. At this point, we're going to swap to Disc 2. However, with that, because I figured it's better just to end off on that emotional note, we're going to need to end this off here with a bit of a shorter part. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night. Take care. And in Part 21, we'll be starting off Disc 2 with our trek north.
Oh, wow.
See you guys then.
See you then.